And we are live. Firstly, with the way of comments, if you can tell us if you can hear us loud and clear. If you can, then we'll continue. Otherwise, we'll try and change our audio setting as well. But it's dark here in Delhi. I don't know how it is wherever you're joining us from. Nitin Gujral, hi to you as well. After a long time, making a return after a small hiatus when he was traveling the Middle East. Rahul Rawat is back. All your family members.
It's not been too long. In fact, I was there
you were there
on the selection day.
Yeah.
Selection day.
That's a book.
Yeah, a
Arvind
book actually,
Adiga.
based on which
a series was made.
Yes. So what are we discussing today? I think
first tell us before we take a it's going to be a Q&A today. Two big things coming up: the Under 19 World Cup final and the India versus West Indies series, the first ODI. So we'll take all your questions. You can have random questions as well, favorite player, anything. We'll try and answer that. But first, tell our family members, just as you tell when you come back home, all the stories. Now, when you come back from outside, you tell your family member whatever happened. Share how the experience. I believe a lot of players were down with Corona there.
Yes.
The ones who were supposed to play the Legends League.
A lot of people couldn't come to Oman or Muscat because they were down with COVID here in India, and some of the players in fact had COVID there in Oman. So for example, Pragyan Ojha couldn't play to start with. Then Irfan also got COVID. A lot of other players also. Brett Lee, when he joined, when he arrived, he was also down with the COVID. So a lot of players, but still, whatever resources they had at their disposal. In fact, Avishkar Salvi. Avishkar Salvi is a bowling coach with Oman Cricket, and
India's Glenn McGrath.
Yes, I mean, actually,
just as action, but yes, cannot compare him to.
But when he arrived into the scene for Indian cricket, people actually referred to him as Indian Glenn McGrath. Yeah. So a lot of players, but it was fun initially. Few of the Pakistani, in fact, majority of the Pakistani players had to leave. So for the first 5-6 days, I invested a bit in work, and the next 4 odd days.
You invested in yourself?
Yes.
Okay, somebody said here, I loved your dolphin video. What is the dolphin video?
Oh, so basically, we went to the Arabian Sea, and I don't know, because you do a lot of these kind of adventures, water sports also. So I have never been to an ocean or a sea so deep. Okay. To be very honest, we were just we were on a boat or a yacht. Boat would be a better word. So we were just going for I think a couple of hours, and everywhere I could see was just water. So we had to wake up early in the morning. I slept at around 5 in the morning, woke up at 6:30 because we had to be there at around we had to leave at 8 because if you go later than that, there's a possibility that you may not be able to see dolphins. So we've seen dolphins in you also may have seen in controlled environment,
water shows,
but
whatever,
right in the center of a sea. That was a first time experience.
Looking at the way Yusuf Pathan, Irfan Pathan were batting, should they throw their hat into the ring when it comes to IPL auction?
Yusuf Pathan was asked that question after he scored that. Yes, Yusuf Pathan was asked that question when he scored that 95. I think of around 45 odd deliveries, and he was asked that question in the press conference, and he gave a response. He said, "Why not? I hope the franchisees are watching me." But the most interesting was Naman Ojha. He was asked,
batting also very well.
The first match that he got an opportunity. In fact, the next match he scored 140. Of course, the Indian team lost, and he was said, "Where do you rate this innings?" He said that this is my best innings. Then he was asked, you must be disappointed that you scored 140 and then still ended up on the losing side. He said, results don't matter, runs do.
Okay, I'm going to take a few comments. Sharvil Patil. Sir, finished reading The Miracle Man. Arey, Sharvil, you made my day, yaar. Written beautifully, and a huge fan of you, Rahul sir and Vikrant sir. Sharvil, thank you so much for your comment. Anish says, was missing Rahul sir and Nikhil sir duo. Okay, now we are back. So, there was a question here. I just missed your name, and it was a very interesting question. Let's try and answer that. will someone pick Sreesanth in the auction? That was a very interesting question, because Sreesanth is making a comeback. His name is there in the auction. He put a post out feeling very happy. What do you think?
Interesting. With Sreesanth, you also get a tag, but he is a sellable face. He is a sellable name. But then, if he is eligible to play in the Ranji Trophy this season, because he's been named in the Kerala squad for the Ranji Trophy, then why can't he represent a franchisee? So this is a private, franchisee-based tournament. So franchisees might not be, they might be a little reluctant, but to add Sreesanth to your squad, it's a marketing gimmick also. No, I'm not just discounting his bowling credentials, but still, because we don't know how he's been bowling. We haven't seen him much, but still, Sreesanth.
Yeah, I agree with you that there will be a temptation to bring him. Firstly, he's a character.
Yes.
Secondly, we know that he's a good bowler. I don't know what his form is right now, but at his peak, he was one of the most outstanding bowlers. Thirdly, now he's eligible too, because have the BCCI included his name, so there's nothing illegal about that, and he's playing domestic cricket. But I think, if you ask me my gut feeling, I think no franchise will pick him, because franchises are also very careful about their image.
Yes.
And in BCCI you can't do much. You have to select the player, as in they're not a private franchise. Here you're private franchises. I don't know, unless he's had a personal equation with some franchise. I don't know. I feel it's going to be very, very tough. And Anish says also age is not going to be on his side. Absolutely, we agree. But 4 overs, I think he can still.
Maybe Sanju Samson. He's the captain of Rajasthan Royals. Plays from Kerala. He's the captain of that Kerala team. And Sreesanth also comes from Kerala. You never know, maybe. And Sreesanth in the past also has represented Rajasthan Royals. Although I think Rajasthan Royals would be the last team to pick Sreesanth, because we all know what happened in 2013, because at that time Sreesanth was playing for Rajasthan Royals when he was allegedly.
Yeah. Now because he's won the case, allegedly was caught fixing. Okay, just going to take a lot of comments. Jay Thakkar says, happy to see you, Rahul sir, back.
Thank you, Jay.
Gyanu Patak says, Rahul sir, Nikhil sir, I am your biggest fan. You're not fan, family member, sir. Nobody is a fan. Following you from a long time. Lots of love back to you as well. Atharva Kapoor says, will Van der Dusen get sold? Sir, I think he will get sold for a decent amount, for 2 reasons. Go ahead. No,
you know what I'll say in the end.
Acha. No, why I said, one, he was outstanding in the T20 World Cup. He was outstanding in the series against India, even though it was an ODI series. Was undefeated in the sense, never got dismissed even once, averaging more than 200. And the way he played the spinners, a foreign batsman playing the spinners so well, I think you will need him in Indian conditions if the IPL is happening in India, or even if it's happening in the UAE as a backup option. He's the guy I think most teams are going to be. He's a hot property, I think.
And he's a wicketkeeper batsman, so he's an all-rounder. So how many trusted wicketkeeper batsmen do you have? You have Rishabh Pant, you have Sanju Samson, you have Ishan Kishan, you have Quinton de Kock, 4. Van der Dusen, I think yes, I'll be surprised if he doesn't get picked, and also if he doesn't get to play the matches.
Somebody said, "Kya captain ka PC nahi hoga?" No, I think the captain will have a PC
for under 19.
No, for the India West Indies.
Because
should be
matches day after.
Yeah, exactly. So tomorrow you will have the press conference. Of course, you will have a press conference. We'll bring you the latest from that as well. In fact, just to let you know, since we are on that subject, that both tomorrow, that's Saturday, as well as Sunday, we are keeping a close eye on the under 19 final. So we'll try and do as many lives, one before the final starts, and then we'll do one at the once it ends as well, mid innings as well. So that's something that we are going to be doing. So join us. Busy weekend coming for us. If you are at home, not going to college, school or office, whatever you do, join us here on Sports Today. We are looking forward to the weekend. Jay Kumar says, why is Devdutt Padikkal not in scheme? He can be so consistent. No, Devdutt Padikkal, if you're talking about IPL, I think he's going to be one sought after player. Everyone is going to go after him. In the Indian scheme of things, how do you fit a opener? There's so many openers already. In fact, you've reached a stage where you're almost going to tell KL Rahul that, listen, there's no spot in the opening, please start batting in the middle order. When you've reached that stage, when you've got a Ruturaj Gaikwad waiting, now maybe they're saying Venkatesh Iyer also in T20 might go back to open only. Very, very tough. Ishan Kishan might get to open in this ODI series. He gets runs, so he is there, but he's far behind in the pecking order, I think. Huh?
Right. And KL Rahul, of course, he'll have to, at least in the ODIs, he'll have to bat in the middle order. I think that is what we discussed also. And when he led the Indian team on that tour of South Africa, he himself said that, since Rohit Sharma is not there, so he'll go back to open the innings. Once I think Rohit Sharma is back, he's going to bat in the middle order. But of course, as we've been told, in fact, we were informed earlier when the BCCI announced the squad for this home series against West Indies. KL Rahul will miss the first ODI.
Yes, because of sister's marriage or something.
So he's missing the first ODI. Shikhar Dhawan is down with COVID. Ruturaj Gaikwad is down with COVID. So, or then in that case, that is the reason why Nikhil says that Ishan Kishan, you might see Ishan Kishan opening the innings.
Somebody said that, Nikhil sir, the video you made about high value for money, you missed Devon Conway. I mean, I considered him. The reason I didn't put him there is because he's getting all his runs in New Zealand only at the moment as things stand. So that was one consideration. And also I didn't find any players. Also remember, foreign players, you have to see, there'll never be value for money, because even getting into the playing 11 is very tough. That's why we tend to concentrate more on Indian players. We've done 2 more very interesting videos, Rahul and me, one each we've done on players we think that are very low as far as their base price is concerned, but they'll go for very high amounts. So the biggest jump that you'll see, and we're not talking about players in the 2 crore bracket like Shardul Thakurs of the world, Deepak Chahar, the 1 crore, 2 crore guys, because them will get, but their jump will be from maybe 5, 6, 7, whatever, not much. I'm talking about 20 lakh, 30 lakh guys who will go for many crores. So that big jump players we have discussed, one video on uncapped, one video on capped, that's going to come your way today, so watch out for that. And I just told you why we didn't take Devon Conway as well. Who will buy? Okay, Nimish says big fan of Rahul sir, Vikrant sir. My question is, who will Kuldeep Yadav, who's going to buy him in the IPL auction? Have any you've been talking to a few franchises?
No, why not UP? Although you gave me a very different sort of a response.
No, I asked that question to the UP team in the interview.
But that's a fact. That's a fact, and because it's franchisees, they also want value for money. They are not there to do any social service, because if Kuldeep Yadav does fit in their scheme of things, they'll pick him. But Kuldeep Yadav, maybe, why not Lucknow Super Giants?
Lucknow, no, in fact, so that's why I asked the question. First, I asked to the owner, Sanjeev Goenka, that, you're not just representing Lucknow. That interview is up on Sports Today. You can see it. But if you're going to be representing, you're representing the state. And there are so many UP players playing everywhere. We look at that. His answer was effectively that, that's not our priority. Our priority is to look at performances. So that was a clue that they are not consciously going to go. Then I even asked Gautam, because a lot of these UP players, I remember Piyush Chawla, Kuldeep Yadav, all of them, Shivam Mavi, they've all played, when he was around KKR or wherever. So, I asked, maybe he may say that, no, I'll go for he said, no. Even he said, what is past is past. It's gone. I'm not going to look at that. So, we're going to look at current form. So, the kind of answers I got from them, I thought,
in fact, I saw those interviews, your interviews with KL Rahul and Mr. Sanjeev Goenka, and of course later with Gautam Gambhir and Mr. Sanjeev Goenka. So, but I wanted to ask you a question.
Please.
You asked Mr. Goenka, how did he arrive at that decision of naming his franchisee or his team as
Lucknow Super Giants?
What was the answer that he gave? If I remember correctly, he said that a young boy, an 8-year-old boy, messaged me that you should have the name of your team as Lucknow Super Giants. Then he said this has happened. So I thought he must be a fan, that young boy. But who has Mr. Goenka's number?
Yeah, true.
Who has you?
No, maybe I don't. Okay, good point. But I don't know whether he said phone or did he say may have message on social media or something. I don't know whether, or was it.
What is he there on social media?
Or he could be an 8-year-old who is part of circle of friends and family.
No, that's what I'm saying. So basically, he decided to name his team as Lucknow Super Giants on the advice or a suggestion from a young boy who already knows him. So why the kind of can I say drama when they were trying to, or when they were arriving or zeroing in on the name of the team, that fans, please give us your suggestions. And then he says that a young 8-year-old boy messaged me that you should name this team as Lucknow Super Giants. So I said, yeah, a young 8-year-old boy has Mr. Goenka's number. Must be a pretty influential boy.
No, frankly, when I saw the name, I was also surprised. I thought they'll have some Lucknow flavor to it. I'm born in Lucknow, so I know the Lucknow की जो तहजीब के बारे में लोग बहुत बात करते हैं. You know that adab and तहजीब are two things.
IPL is nothing about तहजीब.
Yeah, no, I thought maybe some context. Or few things that come to your mind about Lucknow is, as I said, that तहजीब, शायरी is one thing. Then what comes to your mind is the food of Lucknow is very fair. I thought maybe something, some flavor or that. It did not come. But I know now why they went with this, because it was the Pune franchise, and I think they want SG.
Okay.
So that's Sanjeev Goenka SG, and even if you see their group is RPSG, so there is an SG of Mr. Goenka, and SG again continues by Super Giants. So Sanjeev Goenka, Super Giants, SG they wanted, but surely someone could have thought of SG and some Lucknow connection with SG. I agree with you on that front. Super chat, you want to answer? Arpit Kulshestra has a question. Given Punjab management's bad history with star captains, isn't Mayank a good captaincy choice? Consistent performer, seems to go along well with others and looks like a cool customer. Arpit has a valid point. Somebody also, just before you answer that, somebody also asked, is Kumble still with Punjab? Yes, he is. He's still with the Punjab Kings team management. Yes. What do you think of Mayank Agarwal?
Mayank Agarwal, you can try him as a captain, but who all are the players they've retained? Mayank, Arshdeep, and one more player, if I'm not wrong, or just two?
No, three, I think.
They've retained a couple of players.
Okay. Let me check.
So Mayank, because captains will be in demand for somebody. Shreyas Iyer, for all that matter, we know that some of the franchisees, Mumbai Indians, RCB, Kolkata Knight Riders, even Kolkata Knight Riders can go for Shreyas Iyer, because everybody not just wants Shreyas Iyer the batsman, but they also want somebody who can perform that leadership role, and we've seen Shreyas Iyer has done that for Delhi Capitals. As far as Mayank Agarwal is concerned, well, he can be considered for the leadership role. Anil Kumble might just push his case.
Only two. Arshdeep and Mayank.
Arshdeep and Mayank. You never know, because Anil Kumble would understand somebody like Mayank Agarwal. I'm not saying it's some sort of a favoritism or something, but when you know somebody, when you come from the same part of the world or the country, both come from Bangalore, Karnataka. So Anil Kumble himself might just push his case, but still I think we'll have to see, because franchisee cricket don't do any favors or social work. If he deserves, he'll be there.
Done. Okay.
Vishal.
Somebody also asked that will you guys be live at 7 p.m. So me and Rahul will be live today. We have given Vikrant a break. He is saying he's been talking too much, so his throat is needs some
rest.
Where
is he?
He's saying he needs some.
He came with me, but then I've lost him.
So you and I will head at 7 o'clock. We still have time for that, about 2-3 minutes. Okay. Nikhil sir, I don't think MI will go for Shreyas, because MI have 48 crore and have Surya. Valid point. I think we heard that it's a possibility. Rahim Khan says that he doesn't think that MI will go for that. We heard that Bangalore has kept about 20 crore. That was exaggeration.
These are just stories, yes, that are just floating around. Bangalore, a lot of franchisees would want Shreyas Iyer in their team, and so would Mumbai Indians, because initially Mumbai Indians, when Rishabh Pant was made the captain at the expense of Shreyas Iyer in Delhi Capitals. Shreyas Iyer, we knew that because not just that he wants to go there, he's also being looked at as a in the leadership role after Rohit Sharma.
Hales and Sterling.
Great audio today.
Ayush.
You won a compliment.
Thank you so much. Vicky Oswal, see, I'll just say something, and we were discussing about under 19, and a lot of people will talk about under 19 players. I think some of them will get picked, but I don't think personally that a lot of money will be spent. They won't go for a lot of money because even franchises are slightly more careful when they have to decide picking a player. They don't want to take a young, like, see, Yash Dhul, Hangarekar. I'm getting a lot of comments of under 19 players. They won't suddenly, throw them in the deep end. They would also like to see what kind of performance they have in some time, and you give them some time. Remember, they're also playing 50 overs. T20 is completely different. These things will go into the mind. Yes, a few under 19 players may get picked, but I don't think there'll be a big IPL bidding as such.
But for for 10 lakhs, if somebody has a base price, these young under 19 cricketers, if they have a base price of around 10 lakhs, they might just be picked by these franchises.
Since you spoke about the name LSG, that is Lucknow Super Giants, started their IPL journey with a lie of name. Acha, saying that what they're saying about how they may have picked the name may be a lie. That's his interpretation.
No, I'm not saying that they were lying. That was because I saw that interview. So I was just wondering, yaar, mere paas nahi hai Mr. Goenka ka number, but an 8-year-old boy has his number.
Alok Ranjan, who will broadcast IPL 2022, it's going to be on Disney Hotstar as well as Star Sports. Then Ratan Kumar, I don't know why Shreyas Iyer is given much hype while his performance is not up to the mark being in South Africa. Ratan Kumar says Shreyas Iyer. Well, I mean, I think he has a point. Again, I don't think too much hype. He will still go for a decent amount, and he should go for a decent amount. But I think the figures that we were hearing about 20 odd crore or whatever, that's insane. I don't think that's value for money or even logical. So because he's an Indian batsman, he plays for the Indian team, and will be a short starter,
short of a place
younger guy, has captain in IPL team. All of those factors go into his favor.
Exactly. I think Shreyas Iyer, the kind of money that everybody is talking about or for Shreyas Iyer is only and only for one reason.
Yeah.
That he can be the captain of that team. So that's the reason, because it also tells you the vacuum or the lack of captaincy options that the franchisees have at the moment.
We'll take one final question. Deepak Singh says, any inside info on Raina? Does any franchise promise that they will go after him? That's a very interesting question because he's going to be a very curious case. I say that because one, he's an IPL legend, that's for sure. But his performance the last season left a lot to be desired. The season before that left midway. So see, these are things that will be on franchise's mind. CSK did not retain him. CSK may still go with him, may not, we don't know, but I think they will go for him because of the relation he's had with them, the relation he has with the captain. But what do you make of how will there be a lot of interest for Suresh Raina? Because as I said, two things. One, he does bring a lot of quality, but is not playing regular cricket at the moment.
That's a fact. But still, the kind of experience that he has. Harbhajan Singh was picked by KKR. He didn't get any opportunity to play for KKR, but the kind of experience that he brings. For example, we got to know that Venkatesh Iyer. That story. Venkatesh Iyer was asked that who told you first that you can actually play for India or you're going to change, something is going to change for you? He said, in India or I think in the UAE leg, the first time Harbhajan Singh saw me in the nets, he said, boss, ye season na, tera season hai. Wow. That's what he said. So I think, so that's also, you hire so many mentors, you hire so many coaches. I think somebody like Raina can play that role also. Secondly, he's a marketable product. Even if he was not playing for CSK, every advertisement for Chennai Super Kings would feature an MS Dhoni, would feature Suresh Raina, a Dwayne Bravo. So that also is a factor. I think Suresh Raina will be picked. I don't know for how much. If he's, will he go for his base price? Lucknow franchisee, you have Suresh Raina has a very close relationship with that city, with that state, Uttar Pradesh, and Lucknow can have him. CSK might just want to, get him on board again.
Okay, we'll have to wrap up here. new Punjabi movie, that's the name. He says Jason Holder will go for a big amount. I agree with you. I think he's a very, very valuable all-rounder. Hyderabad didn't use him very well, but when they got him, they got the returns also from him. So that is something other franchises would have seen. Again, all-rounders
Exactly.
you need. And
I think fast bowlers will fetch, although we are talking about Shreyas Iyer can actually fetch those big bucks, but I still feel that fast bowlers, a good fast bowler will be the most expensive buy, or a good all-rounder, possibly a fast bowling all-rounder will be the most expensive buy in this mega auction.
all right, on that note, we've got to be heading to another place. So we'll say bye-bye. Thanks so much for joining us. As I said, we have two very interesting videos coming up on IPL. They'll be up today at 9:30 and 10:30 p.m. Do watch them. We'll see you later. Busy weekend coming up, Saturday, Sunday. So join us live on Sports Today then.